everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a dream catcher. This was a suggestion for me to do, so I thought that would be a great idea to create a dream catcher. I've never done one before, so I went on Pinterest to get inspired and I found one that I really liked, and that is going to be the basis of the design that I'm going to try and recreate. So I'm going to put the picture right after this so that you can see that. Alright, so that's the picture, and I hope that I can sort of recreate that. I did look for some items, and I got my items mainly from Hobby Lobby, just a craft store. And what I got were these two, I guess they're embroidery hoops. And this is a 12-inch, and this one is a 6-inch. Now, the particular dream catcher that I looked at was not something that I found that had instructions on how to put it together. So I don't know exactly what was used. So I'm just going by what it looks like. So that's what I grabbed. And I figured, you know, I like to change things up anyway. So I'm just going to do my interpretation of it. So these are the sizes that I chose. I could have gone a little bit bigger on this one, but I kind of like this one because of what... There's like a little tree right here, so I need the space for that. Now, to create that little tree, I went outside in my garden and I got some nice dry pieces of little, this is an old plant, and it's nice and dry, and it's got lots of little branches on it which I can cut from, and I feel like it has an interesting look to it. And to add to that little tree, I got some moss, because in the picture of that particular dream catcher, it's got like some maroons and green moss. So this is the package that I got. It's got some maroons in there, and it's got the green moss and so forth. I feel like I can use this to do like the, you know, make it look like the little bunches of leaves on the little tree. You know, there's no grasses, and it's got this extra stuff in here that I thought would be useful. So maybe grab an assortment of mosses, or, you know, create your own different look. I am going to follow the sort of the design, not the one that's in that picture. I don't think I found another instructions on how to do the design that's going to go on here, and I'm going to do it nice and simple. I don't want to complicate that part too much because I feel like there's going to be a lot else going on. And to create that, I got some embroidery thread. This is you can use anything. You can use yarn, embroidery thread, any type of string that you want to use. I grabbed this one. This is just so for your information. Here's the label for it. I did get it at Hobby Lobby. This is 100% mercerized Egyptian cotton. It's 400 yards, and it says it's a number 10 crochet thread, and it's the color chocolate. So that's what I'm going to use. Like I said, use whatever you want to use. I grabbed some brown ribbon. In the picture, it looks like it's wrapped with some brown ribbon, and I grabbed 4 little rolls of. These have 15 feet in them, so it's 5 yards each. So I have 20 yards. One of them just fell to the floor. But anyway, this is what I have, and I'm hoping that is enough. I do have some ribbons here that I have of my own that I can probably grab from. Now, I wanted this width, and I wanted something a little bit wider, but I couldn't really find any. I could only find like 1 inch, and I didn't want to go that wide to wrap around. But we'll see how that works out for me. Okay, I also wanted some feathers, so I dug up some feathers, and I found these that had a little bit of a peacock look to them. I had 3 of those. I have one over there ready, and then I have another little package that I also purchased that has those same colors that are on the peacock feathers. So just grab whatever feather, whatever colors you like. I also pulled out my beads, and I grabbed the ones that I felt like had the colors. The one in the picture does have some beads interwoven, I think, in here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip that part. But I am going to use some beads to hang downward. And I'm going to use the same string here to do the little bits that are coming down. So let's go ahead and get started on this so we can start prepping some things. And then we can put our whole thing all together. Alright, so let's move the camera down so we can get to work. Alright, I'm going to start off with my embroidery hoop. I did fail to mention the tools that I'm going to be needing. I'm going to be using some scissors, a little Sharpie marker, a little pliers to grab my beads. I do have this, this is called a monofilament cord. It's kind of a like fishing wire kind of a thing. I don't know if I'm going to use this, but I may use it to tie some of these little feathers with so they can dangle off. Also, I've got my hot glue gun ready off to the side here. I don't know if I am going to use a hot glue gun, but I have it ready. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to take this loop thing apart. I've looked at several videos to see how they put it together, and not very many of them are too instructive. But I did find a little pattern, so I think I'm going to follow that because I did not find really even one using a embroidery hoop. I was going to buy a metal ring, but I don't know why I opted for the embroidery hoop, but here I am with that. So anyway, what I want to do on my embroidery hoop is I want to mark 10 marks. So I'm going to go here to do one here, and then of course let me grab a measuring stick here to kind of help myself a little bit here, and just right the center, what would be the center. Okay, so this would be, instead of a 10, I'm just going to put a 0. This would be the 5, and you could mark it wherever. If you want to mark it on the side, it doesn't matter, on the inside, wherever you want to do that. Okay, so then because I have 0 here, I need 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have to decide 1 and 2 here, 3 and 4. So let me go ahead and mark a kind of a center. Okay, so I need 1, 2, 3, and 4, 6, 7. Wait, am I doing this right? Let's see, 1, 2, yeah, 3 and 4. That's 5, 6 and 7. Skip that over. 8 and 9. Okay, so I need 1, 2. And you can measure this out if you want it to be precise. I'm just going to make little eyeball lines here. Let's see, about right here and there. Okay. This one can maybe move over a little bit. That's going to be my 2, my 1, and that's the middle one. So the 3 is about right here actually. And then the 4, and this is my 5, and 6, 7. Let's move this one over a little bit. It's too far that way. 8, and my 9. So I marked it inside. I'll turn it around like that so you can kind of see where I marked it. So just make little markings, okay? All right, so the first string, and this is the way that I'm going to work it, but I feel like you can just keep using the same string over and over, you know, keep the same length, but I'm just going to cut it at a certain point. So I'm going to go from 1, or 0, I should say. Let's mark it like that. Now, because I don't want it to move around on me, I am going to use my glue gun. It is on, yes. I don't want that little string to move around on me, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on it. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to skip over to the 2 here. See? And then you want to make a knot here. So obviously make this loop big enough to put your whole thread through there, or just go ahead and, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and cut about, I don't know, 4 yards or so. It's okay if I don't use the whole thing. Let me go ahead and cut a little. Let's see. Let me guesstimate how much I'm going to have to cut. If I have to go to this one and this one, and skip 1, skip 1, and let's see, is that going to work? 0 to the 2, 2 to the 4, 4 to the 6, 6 to the 8, and then 8 to the 0. Okay, so I had about that much. I'm going to give it a little bit extra just in case for my first bit, my first row of little strings. Now, I'm learning to do this along with you, so give me a little break. Okay, so I'm going to go to the number 2. I'm actually going to go underneath the string here, like that, and pull it over, and I think I'm going to put another dot of glue there just to make it secure. I don't think anybody was doing that, but like I said, I'm going to come up with my own way of doing this. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to the 4, bring it under, but then again through this little thread here, because that kind of helps pull it, you know, this way rather than letting it go that way. And again, I'm going to put a little dot of glue. There we go. Go over to the 6, under, and then, oops, what am I doing, you guys? Did I cut this or not? I think I'm looping the wrong thing. No. Okay. There we go. That was the string, and the end of the string was trying to get involved in the situation. So let's just pull it out of the way completely. What a mess. What a mess of a video. Okay. Now from here, you know, I went under it through here, came out, and I put a little glue there so it won't move on me. I'm going to go, and I'm pulling it a little tight as I'm going along. Just roll it under the 6, bring it under the thread, pull it tight right there, and again I'm going to add some glue right there. It does a little bit too much, but okay. And then I'm going to go over to the 8, go under, and then under the string here. There we go, just like that. And then a little bit of glue. Okay, so now I'm going to go over from here to that 0. So I want to meet up where that one started. Bring it under. And then I'm going to make a little knot here with these two, with this little end here. And this. Another. Just to make sure it is knotted. There we go. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can cut this off. Now I over guesstimated, but you know, that's okay. And then I can just trim off these little bits. Okay, so now I want to start again, but this time instead of starting at the 0, I'm going to start at the 1 and skip 1. So I'm going to go to 3, skip 1, and then go to 5, 7, 9, and then back to the 1. Okay, so that then I can have 2 of, see that? Like it's like a little pentagon. Not a pentagon. What is it when it's 5 sides? There we go. There we go, like that. Okay. Like a little house, a little roof here, and then a little house. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to cut enough string where I feel like it's enough. And then I'm going to give it a little extra. I don't care. This is 400 yards or whatever it was, so it's okay. Okay, so I had it like this, and I want all my little knots to be on this side. So here's the 1, and go underneath it, make a little knot. I'm having trouble making a knot, you guys. Okay, here we go. Make a little knot. This is going to look really pretty, okay, at the end, because I always have the situation where I'm like, oh, gosh, I don't know if I'm doing this right. I don't know how it's going to look. But, you know, in the end, it always turns out fine. Okay, so again, underneath it, I'm going to come through underneath, and then underneath the thread. Oops, I was gluing onto my hand. Let's pull this over right about here. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some glue just to kind of keep it in place. It doesn't really do help much because I'm not waiting till it dries. I do have a little fan going right here in front of me, but I'm not really waiting till it's completely dry before I pull on the thread again. Okay, so when you're doing this, make sure you don't go under this other one that you've already done. Don't get this little string tangled up in this. So just stay over it, right underneath right here. Like, don't go underneath and then go over it like that. Go right underneath the loop of the, you know, the hoop, the embroidery hoop, and then underneath that thread, and right there. Okay, I feel like I need to bring the camera a little closer, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm back and you can see the string a little bit better. I'm going to continue. Now I started at 1 and I went to the 3, from the 3 to the 5, now the 5 to the 7 right here. Go underneath, and underneath the thread that just went across, not this one, and just slide it over so it's right on your little mark that you made for the 7, and pull on this one. Okay, a little dot of glue there. All right, then we're going to go across to the 9, and then underneath that one, pull it through, and some glue right there. Now, because I cut these nice and short, I could have actually, you know, as I'm doing this, I could have actually been sliding a bead through here so that I could have a little bead, you know, maybe like in the middle. Put a little dot of glue so the bead doesn't slide around. But I didn't do that, but I could have. So anyway, I'm going to go over now back to the one where I started. Go underneath and over like that. Okay, so now that I've got them there, I've got this little end here where I could just knot it with that little end. If the string is too short, then, you know, just bring it around one more time and make a little knot. But I'm going to go ahead and use this little tiny bit, which always makes it really hard to knot because, you know, it's a small little string. Okay, there we go. And now I can go ahead and trim that one off. I'm actually going to turn it this way so you can see it like that. That looks so much prettier because you don't see the little knots. And this is going to be the back of our little loop. So you can see it here, all pretty. Look at that. Okay, so now we want to do another one. So these were skipping 1, and this next one I am going to be skipping, I think it says, yeah, let's see. It goes from the 0 to the 3 to the 6 to the 9 to the 2. Okay, so this one's going to be one of those that kind of continues until you're used all the numbers. Okay, let's do that. Let's go ahead and start a number. Okay, so I am going to start again here with this one at the 0. So let's grab that little string through there. Let's go ahead and make a little knot. Here we go. And this one I'm going to cut quite a bit because I feel like, I don't know, I think it's going to go around a couple of times, so let's just do that. Okay. And you could just roll it up if you want, like that. Make a little ball, if you will. Make it easier to bring it around. Okay, so now from the 0, and I'm going to put some glue. Well, that's probably not going to move, but I'm going to put some glue anyway, right there. Okay, so the 0, I'm going to skip over to the 3, right here. So I want to bring all this underneath and through here. Through underneath the same string that I put over. Okay, and I'm going to put a dot of glue. I'm just going to do the glue everywhere. Okay, so then from the 3, I skipped 2, right? So I'm going to skip 2 here. From the 3, I'm going to skip the 4 and the 5 and go over to the 6. And here's where it gets a little tricky because it's getting a little tight around here. So I'm going to bring it through here. So it's a good idea to make a little ball of your little thread here. Unless you don't mind, you know, pulling and pulling and pulling through. I'm just going to smush it down so it helps it dry a little faster. Okay, from the 6, I'm going to skip 2, go over to the 9. There we go. So that's kind of like one time around because we're almost back at the 0, which is right here. Okay, so the according to these instructions that I'm seeing. And what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and put that picture of the instructions that I'm looking at also, because I feel like I kind of changed it around a little bit. So if you want to kind of follow the one in the picture, you can. But I'll put that so you can pause it and then kind of look at it from there. Okay, so then from the 9, it's going to skip 2, and now I'm going to go over to the number 2. So I'm going to go here. Excuse me, my goodness, and then bring all my little thread through there. There we go. It actually looks really pretty. And I think because I have like such a small little circle, all my patterns like way over here and it's not really even happening like in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to skip 2. So from that number 2, skip 3 and 4, and I'm going over to 5, and I'm actually going right on the edge here where I'm bringing the thread back up again through here. And I feel like here's where I'm going to go ahead and do this little number. There we go, to the 5, and I'm almost done with this cycle. I'm going to skip 6 and 7 and go over to the 8, like so. And that is that particular cycle. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like when I turn it over like that. Right there. Oh, that looks so pretty, actually. Look at that. So I think that if you wanted to add, like, you know, more, you could go ahead and say, well, now I'm going to skip, you know, one to go from the, you know, the last one that you just left off at, skip 3, and then go over and bring your little thread through. I don't know, I hope I have, yeah, I think I made it, I left enough. And this all just depends on how complicated or how much string you want on your whole thing, but I think this is gonna look pretty cool. So I'm gonna try this. You can always cut it off if it doesn't look right. Okay, so I went from the 8 to the 2, and I skipped what? 3 of them this time. So I'm gonna skip 3, 4, and 5 and go over to the 6. Wow, that looks pretty, guys. Okay. And bring that through. And I think this all got knotted over here. Okay, put some glue there also so it doesn't move for me again. And I just smear it on so it dries a little bit faster. And then from the 6, I'm going to go to the 0 because I'm going to skip 7, 8, and 9 and just go straight to the 0 right over here. And then go under, like I said. Bring the thread through. And here is where I actually started the whole mess of everything. So I'm going to trim this just a little bit here. Get those threads out of the way. And I'm going to knot it right there. Let's bring that little thread. Okay, there we go. And knot it with that little last thread. Actually, that didn't even knot, guys. I didn't even make a knot. I just twisted them. Okay, there we go. There's a knot. And I mean, if you could do a better, you know, like a preciser, you know, much more precise marking that I did, then you probably have a much more even, you know, looking strings. But this is what I've got. I'm going to leave it at that. And I really like that. That's really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue there to finish that off. What I was actually going to do is I was going to wrap it around with a ribbon before I did this, but I already did it like this. So let's see how that works out now. It's going to be a little bit of a booger wrapping it with ribbon now. Okay, so there we go. That's what it looks like. Now, I have the outer part of the embroidery hoop, and I could save that and make another one. I think that would be pretty much like a really good idea to do. What do you think? Or I could put it on there. Oh, I tightened it. Let me loosen it up. Or I could put it on there so that also helps to keep those strings from moving around, you know. So you could have that and get a nice firm hold on all your little strings. What do you think? What should I do? I kind of want to save it and maybe make another one. because I think this is something that, well, my daughter-in-law likes dream catchers. So I think this is going to go to her, but I think I might want to make another one. So should I just save this? I think so. All right, so I think that if I was going to use these, because if you'll notice that they have the little bits here where you tighten them. So it's like, you know, what do I do with that part? Well, on my dream catcher, I would just make sure, just make them as tight as you can. Tighten these as much as you can. This one also. If you want to use these two separately, or how do I use them, because they have that. And what I'm going to do with the other two is I'm going to end up attaching them like that, because there's the small one is attached to the big one off on the side like that. So I probably want to either attach it right there and then cover all that up when I attach it with ribbon and cover it up, make it nice and pretty like that. Or if you somehow wanted to like maybe glue it and remove this metal part, which I don't think you really have to go through all that trouble, just do that, just attach it right here, wrap it with, you know, ribbon. Maybe wire down first and then cover all the wire with ribbon as you wrap it around. And then I would make sure that on the big one that is at the bottom of, like, this is the bottom of your what is this again, a dream catcher? This is the bottom. I would make sure that this is facing the bottom, so whatever you hang here will cover that up. Okay, so that's what you could do. So I'm going to save these two, and I'm only going to use these two because I think I can make another dream catcher. So here they are all together, but they are wrapped in ribbon, and I probably should have wrapped it with ribbon first in hindsight, now that I look at it, before putting all that string. And then I could have just made my markings with maybe like a little pin, like stick it in the ribbon wherever the numbers are, right, instead of using a Sharpie. But I didn't do that. I marked it like that because I wasn't thinking. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, it doesn't matter where I start really, but I don't know why I want to start at that 0. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue here and put it right there. Now, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pull, and I have these short bits of ribbon, which are 5 yards each. I'm just going to pull the whole bit of ribbon off. Now, if I was doing one of these, I probably don't need 5 yards of ribbon, but I went ahead and I grabbed it because I wasn't sure how much I would need. So now I'm just going to have to take my time and go between these little threads and pull the ribbon through all the way. So I'm going to sit here for a little while, wrapping it around like that, pushing it through, now pulling it now that way. So that's what I'm going to do, you guys, and I'm going to do that off camera because I really don't think you want to watch all that. Now, on my bigger one, because I'm not going to put any of that string, I can go ahead and just start up my ribbon, and at any point, I'm going to go ahead and glue it down right here. And now again, this is a 12-inch hoop. This is a 6-inch hoop. Now, I'm using one of the little rolls to do the little one so that after I'm done, I can see how much of this ribbon I actually used, so that you'll have an idea of how much you need for a 6-inch loop. Now I've got 2 more here, including this one. There's 3 that I can use to work on this one. So I'll let you know how much ribbon I needed to cover this. And again, these are 5-yard rolls of ribbon, and this ribbon is 3/8 inch wide. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start wrapping this guy up, and let's do the same with this one, and I will be back, so I won't bore you with that, but that's basically what I'm doing, just wrapping it around. I'm going to overlap it just a little bit. Hopefully 5 yards is enough to do this one little loop, okay, so I won't have to use any more. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this going, and then this one, and I shall be back. Alright, so I am back from wrapping the 2 hoops with the brown ribbon. Again, this was a 3/8 inch wide ribbon, as you can see right here, and I had 4 rolls, 5 yards each. I only ended up using 2 rolls, so that was good enough. So I need at least 10 yards of ribbon to wrap these up. I would probably say maybe even just 8 yards, because I do have here left over. When I was doing this one, I have about it's over 2 yards here, about 2¼ yards left over. And as you can see here, I have this little bit left here, but I left it on here. I didn't cut it off. On this one, I finished it off and I glued down the end right here. So that little end, I'm going to put it up against here, and then I'm going to use this one here to wrap through like so. Let me get it through there first. Go through the little strings. This one took me longer because I had to go through the little strings. Let me get these out of the way. Don't need that. So that's going to get wrapped up right here to hold this onto here. But before I do, I actually wanted to put some hot glue. And then what I decided to do, because I was saying when I was making this here, and this one's just a little bit wider than this one, so I'm just pushing it up against the back side. When I was doing this one, I was actually saying this is because this is where I was knotting it on this side, so everything is closer to this edge. This string here is closer, like more level to this edge of the hoop. So if you looked at it this way, it was actually inside. But then I decided that so I had decided this would be the front, right, and the stringing or the webbing, whatever you want to call it, would be, you know, in the back. But I decided, you know, once I covered the little knots on the other side, that I prefer that the webbing be away from the wall here. So I'm going to use this as the front. Okay, so now that I put some glue in there, I'm going to go ahead and continue wrapping this, but I've got this one going over this little string, so I want to make sure it's going under it. Yeah, there we go. Just put it through there. And I'm just going to wrap it enough so that I know that it's on there and it's not going to move. There we go. I think that would be enough. Okay. Okay, there we go. Nice and tight. It's not going to move. And you know what? I'm going to do it one more time because there's a little area right here that I don't like the way it looks. So let me go over that. Okay, there we go. And now I'll just put plenty of glue. Wrap it one more time and push it through, and then put glue down here on the inside. Pull that end on it, and then just trim it off. And if you don't want that to be floating around, just glue that little edge of the ribbon. Okay, so at this point what you just want to do is you just want to make sure there's no little hot glue webbings, which is, you know, what I was removing earlier. So you want to remove that now. Let them dry before you start moving them around. So this is going to dry really well, and if I catch any more little webbings, I will just pull them off. Someone suggested using a air dryer, you know, your blow dryer, you know, because it's got hot air to blow that off. Okay, I'm going to put this as if you're looking, well, not as if you're looking at from your view. Okay, so in the picture it has this little circle, and it's kind of like a little bit up here, and then right here is where the little tree is and all those other decorations. So I want to start making that, but I also want to put some little feathers hanging off the bottom here, and I've actually already created one of my stringed feathers with beads, and that will be then tied right here, right in the middle. And I want that one to be the longest one hanging off, and because I have 2 more of these, I want to make these a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to put a little short string here and just put a few little beads. The same with this one, and it just be random beads. This is just beads that I happen to have in my collection. Maybe you want to buy a little bag, but you want to make sure that the beads that you get, the little opening, the little hole in them, is going to be wide enough for whatever string you're going to put through. So if you don't find glass beads that have a big enough hole, you might find plastic ones. So make sure you get that, or don't put any beads at all, or you can bead them on this type of a filament string. It's very thin. This will go through little small holes in the beads, so that's another thing you can use. And then make sure you put beads all the way down the string. I kind of skipped right here, and I'm going to skip a little bit, and then I'm going to tie it right there. I just kind of like that look, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to create the other two. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm going to use some of this little string that I had left over from the other little projects. Let me get my chair and sit down so I can be comfy. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I did, let me go ahead and cut this string in half because we're not going to need this whole length. It's going to have to be shorter than that other one actually. So I'm just going to cut it right there. Push it to the side over here and save it for my other feather. I'm not even going to worry about actually these two being the exact same length. They're going to be a little bit different. I'm probably even going to add, you know, different beads. So don't worry about it, you know, if they're not exactly the same. Kind of want them to look a little different. Okay, so I'm going to take these feathers because in case you don't find your feathers like this, because let me show you. Do you see that? It has a little loop on it. It's like a little, let me see on the, I don't know if you can see it on there. But on my hand, can you see that little loop on there? Or maybe you can see it better like this. There, against the dark. Okay, so it's got a little loop right here, and then they were like tied together, and it created this little bundle. So you could do something like that. Grab a bunch of feathers, grab a little bit of this like a see-through type of string, grab enough where you could fold it in half to create a little loop, and then use some floral tape, or even just some regular Scotch tape, and just, or masking, or yeah, is it masking tape? Yeah, you know, a thin masking tape, and wrap it around nice and tight to create a little bundle like that. So you could do that. So, but let's say, you know, you don't have all that to work with, but you want to get one of these feathers, maybe this, let's get a brown one here. One of these little brown ones. You want to bundle them up here. Get the little ends together. What I'm going to do to these actually, these, I'm going to take off the little bits off to create a little stem here, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. Just do that and let them fly. Okay, now I'm going to put them against here. Well, actually, I want the brown one in front because it's covering. Okay, now I'm going to put it on here, and then you can just take your little string and just, let's see, let's get this little end out of the way and just wrap it around a couple of times, or 3 or 4 times, which is what I did, and then just knot it. Just knot those ends and tie up that little bundle. Let's get that tied on there. Well, goodness gracious. It's hard to do something when I'm doing it away from me, as opposed to like right here, right next to myself. Okay, so right there, just tie them together, and I'm going to knot it so it doesn't come apart. And you could actually add a little bit of hot glue to keep them stuck together. That would help. Okay, so that's how you can do that. And then you could just trim off the very top. If you add a little bit of hot glue here, let's do that. Let's add a little bit of glue there so that those little ends are all together. Actually, I'm going to take this little string, wrap it around the little end, and it'll get wrapped around the glue. You know, it'll get glued down as I wrap it. Okay, there we go. Make a little bit of a mess with your fingers. So then you have that little bit there. Now you could do the same thing that I did here with the embroidery thread, or whatever thread you're using to do this hanging, or you could use this clear one, and it would work basically the same. I'm not going to even do it because you're not even going to see this. It's so see-through. I feel like I should, even though you don't see it. Let me try here. Grab, oh, I like this one, and let's try one of these. Okay, I'm going to have a mess of feathers everywhere. Oh, well, okay. All right, let's get that out of the way. Let's get some of these off. Let's get some of these off the end here, so we have a stem that we can work on. And I think I had this one. It doesn't matter. Just grab another feather. I have my little fan on, you guys. I need to have my fan. Someone was laughing because I left my fan and everything was flying all over the place. I'm just being a little warm, you know. Okay, so now I'm going to get a nice big piece of string here. Like I said, you're not even going to see it because it's so see-through. Okay. What I'm going to do first, come over here, honey. You don't run away from me. I'm going to glue this one down to this one. Okay? So a little bit of glue there on that little tippy tip there. Glue the stem of this one onto it. Once you got them glued, then you can add a little bit more glue. And then grab the other little feather you prepared and stick that right on there. Okay, so now they're stuck together and they're not going to move. All right, let me get some more glue in my hot glue gun. I think I'm okay for now. All right, here's the see-through or the filament, the transparent filament that you can't see unless maybe I put it across my arm here. You see it going across here, my hand. Okay, that's the filament. If I put it across here, do you see it? Okay, well, maybe. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and bring this around and make a little knot with the end, which is going to be a little hard because this isn't as flexible or soft as that crochet thread, so it's a little harder. Okay, so I'm going to knot it as best as I can, and one more. Okay, now that I've got it knotted, I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Now I'm a little hesitant because the string is plastic and the glue is probably going to melt it off, so let's just try this and see if that works. Just a little dot right where the little knot. Okay, now on this one I'm not going to wrap this around. I'm just going to bring this up like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that end, the short end where I knotted it, and then some of the bits of the tip here. So this is, you know, just upward like that, okay? The same with this one. I told you you're going to trim off a little bit there. So then this is going straight up. And the reason that we want that cut off is that when we put a bead, it'll get as close to, let's grab a bead from my little box here. Where's my little pliers? Here they are. Let's just grab a bead that I know has a big enough hole. I'm going to grab that one and string it through. You think that, sorry, that I had a little bit of glue there with a little bit of feather. Okay, I'm pushing the string through, which is always hard. So once I get it through, I can bring it down as far, you know, as close as I can, like that. And then just put whatever beads you want on here. You know, make it nice and decorative. The same with this one. You can do the same thing. Add a bead. And then just add whatever you want. And just make sure that they end up being shorter than the one you're going to put in the middle. But they don't have to be the same. You know, they could be two different lengths. It's okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do these two just like I did this one. No, actually, not that. I'm going to do... Actually, I'm going to do these two, but I'm going to decorate this one and this one as well, you guys. And these are just going to be loosey-goosey ones that I can hang in the middle of these guys. So these are going to be short. I'm only going to leave one bead on them. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. And this one over here, let me go ahead and get another bead for that one. There we go, right here. I'm just going to put one bead in it. The only thing that I don't like about this one is that the bead goes off to the side instead of going like right on top of it because of the way that I put this filament on here. I'd have to glue it so that it stays flat like that and it goes straight up. And because, like I said, it's plastic and because I'm going to use the glue gun, I don't know if that's going to work. So I'm going to try it. And this is probably where you can get some floral tape. Let me go ahead and grab some floral tape. This is floral tape. Probably the best thing to use. Just cut a little piece. What a mess I have here, right, guys? I don't even know if you even care about this part, but you know, I'm just trying to find solutions for things here. Okay, so let's say you put this filament straight up on your little stem. Take your greenery tape, pull on it, and you're only going to do it around the same little spot. But the thing about it is it's not going to look as pretty. So now I just snapped it off right there. It's not going to look as pretty as if I didn't put anything on there. So there'll be a little bit of tape on there. So this greenery tape, you do find it in the brown. So brown would actually probably match with this a little bit better. But there is some green in here, so heck, that works. I'm going to leave it on there. Okay, just because I do kind of like the way that looks, let me go ahead and put that bead back on there. If I can find it, the one that I had on here. Otherwise, I'll just grab another one. I'll grab another one. Oh, here it is. I threw it in here. Okay. So now when I put the bead in there, come on, honey. There we go. You gotta talk to it real nice. At the end of that other one there. Okay, so now when I put it through, it's on top rather than sliding off to the side like that. It'll be on top like that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this one. Where's the other one that I made? Okay, here it is, right here. This one. These two that I created, these little bundles. I'm going to use those, and I'm going to use this one and then these two. But let's go ahead and tie these on so we can start seeing how that's going to look. Okay, so I'm going to put this like sideways. This is going to be the bottom of it, okay? So I want this to be kind of offset, like a moon in the background, like, you know, like it's a moon off to the side of this picture that we're creating. Okay, so this is going to be the very bottom then of my sun catcher. So that's where I want to put this guy on. And I'm going to knot it on, but I think I'm going to then direct the knotting to the back. Okay, here I can trim off this guy here. Let's bring this, turn this around. This would be the back, and I want to bring a knot up to this edge here. And put a little bit of glue. And just leave it on there and let it dry. Okay, so that's going to go right there. And I'm going to want this other two these feathers to hang off, you know, a little bit apart off of here, but they're going to be with a little bit of beads here, okay? So they're going to hang like that. But in the middle, I'll hang these guys. So let me go ahead and bring this one. And knot it. Make a loop so I can get ready to knot it. And just bring this. I'm going to bring this as close as I can with this little bead up here. And we want it to knot up here though. Oops, oops, oops. Up here. So let me go ahead and bring it around one more time. Yeah, there we go. Up here. Up here. And feed it through like a needle. The filament is really hard to work with sometimes because it's, like I said, it's see-through. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of glue there. Okay, and I'm going to trim. Well, I'm going to wait till it's dry and then I'll trim it. And then turn this one around so it's like this. Okay. Hopefully you'll go with the idea of using, you know, this kind of string, because this is a little bit of a headache. Okay, so we got that one on that side, and I'm not going to trim the filament off yet. I am going to now hang the other one. Bring it across like that. It makes it easier for me to tie it. Okay, and I want to pull this tight like that, knot it, and there we go, like that. And then one more time, do that same loop, and pull tight, and then right there I'm going to add some glue, and again I'm not going to trim it. The glue was already dripping out. Okay, so we're just going to pull on it. There we go. I'm not going to trim this off. I don't know what I said, but I meant to say I'm not going to trim it off until I'm ready, until this is all nice and dry. I went a little too close to the other one. Let me move it over a little bit. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so there we go. So that when we turn it around, you're actually looking at the pretty side of it, facing forward. I'll trim these ends here at the end when I know that I like the lengths of everything, just in case I have to do some adjusting. But I mean, obviously this one I can't do any adjusting because this might just tear up, but this one I might be able to. But anyway, and I just want to make sure the glue is also really well and dry. So that looks pretty already, as you can see that. That looks really pretty. So I'm going to go off camera and finish these two, and then I'm going to tie them on, get them ready, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step. All right, everyone, I have completed the feathers that are coming down from the bottom of my dream catcher. I keep wanting to say sun catcher. Okay, so this is the center, and this is the very top up here. I could add a little ribbon so that I could hang it with maybe a little string, or maybe just hang it off the edge of the hoop here. So that's up to you if you want to add something on there. I'm going to take these little branches. I just cut off some pieces from this little dried bush that I had, and I chose what I felt was enough to create like a little branches. So I'm going to add this one first by gluing it down to the bottom here, and I want this to be at a point where it actually touches over here, so I can glue down a little spot here. So let's get some glue on here. Now you can decorate it however you want. If you want to take some silk flowers or dry flowers even, and add a little cluster here, that would be really pretty. Add that on there, or maybe some lightweight figurines that you might want to put on here. Maybe even some seashells if you want to incorporate this into a sea kind of you know, or ocean themed dream catcher. This is just the design that I happened to choose because I liked it very, very much, and I really liked the colors that were presented. So I thought, you know, let me see if I can at least try and get the colors. I think the colors is really, really what attracted me. I'm going to glue this right here as well. Oh, and I should tell you that right here, I don't know if you can see, but when I get the camera and pan it on it closely at the end of the video, you'll be able to see that I put little beads here. I put turquoise silver, turquoise silver, turquoise silver, and so on all the way around. I was thinking about maybe even gluing it to little spots here and there where it will look like they were strung through, but I thought, no, I think just on the little edge right here will be enough. I'm going to glue this little bit onto right here as well, so it stays in place. And it's always a good idea to, you know, do it while it's on the table, because the table is mimicking a wall behind. So I know that it's not protruding any further back from the loop. Okay, so now I want to make this look like a little tree. So I'm going to take these bits of moss that look like little clusters of leaves like that. And I'm going to put, you know, little bits here and there, so it looks like the one in the picture. Okay, I'm going to get a smaller little cluster here. Let's start off with this little point over here. Put a little glue there. Twirl it around, get that glue to, and then I'm just going to put that right on there. And then you can come around once you've added them all on and just trim off any little bits that you don't like, and just remove them. See what I did there? Okay, I'm going to keep adding these around on my tree. Some of these little ends are a little too flimsy, so I'm going to trim where they're a little too flimsy. There we go. a little bit more. There we go. Just trimming off the little flimsy bits. Okay. Now I can add these on there. Okay. Okay, let me get a little piece. Put that back here. Wrap it around the little branches there. Okay, I'll be back once I've got enough of that on there, and I'm also going to add some of this that looks like bark down here in the bottom, and add more of these little clusters here and there. And I shall be back, and I'll finish it off with some of the little grass, and I think that should complete my dream catcher. Okay, so I'm just adding some of this little bits of what looks like bark shavings or something. I'm not really sure what it is, but I've decided to put a little bit on there to make the tree a little more, you know, have a little bit more to it, because when the picture has a lot going on for it. I also realized that this has some little dangly bits here, and it's got little stars hanging off. I don't have any beads that are stars, but I'm gonna see what little beads I can go ahead and hang here. Maybe put 3 little strings of something hanging from there. And I'm just going to use my hot glue gun for that. So I'm just filling up little spaces here and there with this. Let's see, let's add a little more of this barky looking stuff. I'll be back, and you'll see what I did, and I'm also going to add this little grass on there. And I'm going to add some of this maroonish colored one, because that is like what's in that picture. I don't know what else it has on there. It looks like it just has some little, I don't know, some little flaky bits of shell or something in there. Or it looks like a dragonfly or something. I do have a butterfly, so maybe I'll pull one of those out, or a little bird. I might have a little hummingbird. Maybe I can put that in here. We'll see. So I'll be back. Alright, so I'm just finishing it off. Adding a bit more of this little cluster of grass here on this side. Just a little bit more, because I wanted it to be like a little bit higher. It was a little too flat. Okay, so then I also added some grass from behind the back of the tree, because I wanted to give it more, I didn't want it to look like those little skinny little branches. I wanted to give it a little more body, and more like the one in the picture. I obviously can't recreate it exactly like the picture. Now, in the picture, it doesn't have anything over here, but I just felt like I wanted something there. So I was adding that little feather. I'm going to put a nice little shorty bits there. I don't know, I just felt like it needed that. If you feel like it's too much, go ahead and say so. But I just wanted to put that on there. Okay. Put that right there. I feel like that kind of like balances out the feathers that are. And then I just hung 3 little beads here, and I glued them from the back. Made a little knot, strung a little bead, and then I just put glue in the back, stuck it back behind there, the back there, and that's it. Okay, so now I just need a little string here up at the top. Like I said, this could just be hung right on here, but I'm going to go ahead and just put a little knot, a little bit of a string here, where I can hang it off of if I want. And that's it. That completes my dream catcher. So let's look at it from a different angle. Alright everyone, here is my completed dream catcher. Get it up close so that you can see it a little bit better. I think it looks really pretty, and I really like the colors. The only thing is I do wish that I had thought of choosing the moss a little bit darker green rather than that bright lime green. I didn't pick out a little bird or a butterfly to put on it. I felt like it looked just fine like that. Now I can hang it from the little ribbon that I put on there, or I could just hang it right from the loop of the dream catcher. And there we go. This is it. I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and that you like this idea. Leave a nice comment down below. Let me know what you think. And subscribe. And thank you to everyone who has been subscribing. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when I put up my videos, which is every Tuesday and every Friday, and a weekend vlog. All right, everyone. Also, if you want to leave any suggestions to let me know what else you'd like to see me do, go ahead and put that in the comments. And as always, share on your social medias. And enjoy.